Red Ray Gun Limited presents...
Calling Benji and Nick. Calling Benji and Nick. Are you receiving me?
Hello. Good morning. Good evening. Good day.
Goodness.
Good Loch Ness. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Benji and Nick Show. My name is Benji.
And my name is Nick.
The Benji and Nick Show.
Hello.
Ding dong. Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Was that the door, Nick?
Goodness. Loch Ness.
Loch Ness, indeed. Come in, put your feet up, sit down, and enjoy.
Don't put your feet there.
Oh no, not on that. That's the antique stove that we keep in the living room. Hello, if you're just joining us, my name is Benji, and this
It's me.
is me, Mr. Smee himself, Nick. And we are
Sorry,
here.
I didn't realise. I couldn't grammatically. I didn't know how to interject there.
No, well, to be honest, I hadn't planned on setting up an interjection, but it happened, as things sometimes do, and I felt it was necessary at the time.
Yes.
Yes, if you're just joining us, this is the Benji and Nick Show, the home of cult television banter.
It is. It's a safe place, isn't it?
It is. It's a place to discuss your favourite things and new things as well. We like to, sometimes we'll pluck a release that we're very fond of. Other times we'll say, that looks interesting, and see where it leads us. Could be good, could be bad.
Yeah. And we do, and it's really quite unplanned.
I think I say, and it's really quite unpleasant.
Ugh, have you seen that? So the topic we're discussing today is a great children's programme from Thames Television back in the 70s. The Ace of Wands. Or Ace of Wands is not called... Was it called The Ace of Wands
I
or
think it's
Ace of Wands?
Yeah, I
Ace
think
of
it's
Wands.
just Ace of Wands.
And Benji and I have watched the first episode of the third series because that's the only series that remains. They made 3 series and the first 2 got erased.
It's absolutely crazy when you think that. I mean, especially given that Tony Selby was Taro's assistant. Taro being the main character played by the awesome Michael McKenzie. Tony Selby was his sort of Bezzy in the first series, his assistant.
Yeah? You think that's a reason why they shouldn't have erased it? That's what you're saying?
Well, very possibly. Who knows?
Well, I mean, there are loads of reasons. I think Tony Selby could be one of them. Anyway, we'll move on to that later. We're sponsored by the Jerry Anderson store, shop.jerryanderson.co.uk.
Is indeed. Yes, it is.
I got that right again.
Loch Ness, yes.
That was the Loch Ness Monster just popping in there. And because of that, there's a lovely, not the Loch Ness Monster, because of Jerry Anderson, the wonderful Jerry Anderson and his store. We offer you, what is it for, that if you use the code Under the Sea, it dives under the sea into the world below, where beauty and mystery
I've got a good anecdote.
can always be found. It dives fearless and free, chasing the strangest foe, but against all adversity sails homeward bound. Stingray. Thank you.
What a crooner.
Yes, my album's coming out next week.
Do you know, it's funny because you often ask me, what are your Jerry Anderson memories? And the funniest thing is, actually this week I had a dream with the which for some reason I was in a hotel, and all was playing at this hotel was Marina, Aqua Marina. What are these strange enchantments that start whenever you're near? And that was just going on in this sort of hotel space. And so I woke up, I was like, God, That's brilliant. I forgot. You know, like you just forget things exist. It's actually a really great song, that.
It is, yes. I love. My favourite line is I'm certain to fall, I know, because you enthrall me so.
That's
lovely, isn't it? I love it.
That's my next Tinder chat-up line.
Yes, you enthrall me so. You enthrall me so. I thought we'd go for a beer.
Yeah, fancy it? Oh dear, yeah.
Anyway, look, the offer, Under the Sea. What do they get for that?
They get 2 alarm clocks, I believe.
No.
That's
the competition.
God, no! That's the competition.
This is the most disorganised Benji and Nick show we've done.
Well, it happens, you know.
And it's the first one we've actually had a preliminary chat about. Normally we just launch it. We were talking for quite some time, allegedly planning, and it's all gone out of the window.
It's all gone under the sea. Yes, if you use the code Under the Sea.
Under the Sea.
You get £5 off any badge or pin. They're both the same thing, or a patch or a book. So there's a lot of them on there, and obviously, you know, how many badges are more expensive than a £5? Not many. So you're probably gonna get a free badge out of this one, which is pretty rocking, you know. But
I don't know whether our previous offers are still working, like poo water or. There was literally, we asked people to write poo water and nobody did it.
Yeah, there is a reason
disgusting.
for that. Is because we were watching an episode of Thunderbirds in which there's this horrible concoction in a beaker that looked exactly like what it sounds like.
Yes, it was to make it made the alligators grow big in Thunderbirds Attack of the Alligators.
So good.
Who were under the sea.
But yeah, if you head over to the Jerry Anderson store, which is shop.jerryanderson.co.uk, you can find loads of stuff on there. I mean, I'm just having a browse now, like I do every week. What's just popped up here? Thunderbird 2 container dock. Which looks like is that a building kit? Yeah, it's a funky kit, and you get all the little pod modules there and vehicles. Oh, marvellous. You can get a Joe 90 t-shirt, Space 1999 mug, and as well as that, you can also, we gave it away in a competition not so long ago, you can also get the new Captain Scarlet soundtrack, and through the Jerry Anderson store, you can also get it signed by the composer as well. So
Crispin Merrill. Yes.
So well worth a look.
I don't know whether he's a Merrill or a Merrill.
If that was my surname, I'd be a Merrill. You know, it sounds very Mr. Merrill rather than Merrill, come in here.
Andre Morel.
Down.
A brilliant Quatermass.
Oh, I love a bit of the. We haven't done Quatermass. We should do Quatermass.
Well, we should do Quatermass.
That's definitely on the cards. And I love Quatermass and the Pit. Great. But yeah, so Under the Sea is the code, still active this week. It's 3 words, but it's all in one. So Under the Sea capitals all mashed together, and you'll get £5 off a badge or a pin or a patch or a book.
Now, a while ago, you said they'd got everything on there, and so I said, what about bananas? And you type bananas into the search engine, and you got something. One of the episodes of Torchy the Battery Boy was something about a banana. So let's try some other. Should we find a random word to type into the search engine of the Jerry Anderson store? What do you think?
I don't know. You name it.
Pocket.
Pocket.
I don't know.
Pocket.
Pocket.
Yes, you can get Thunderbird's pocket squares.
Yeah. Well, wow. What do they look like?
Well, they're quite funky. They've got all the little bits of silk. With there's one with a Thunderbirds comic on. There's one with a little Thunderbird one on, or Thunderbird. Yeah, all the Thunderbirds in their respective. God, it's really quite funky. That Lady Penelope.
I bet crevice doesn't work.
Crevice. Oh, let's have a look.
How do you spell crevice? Crevice, isn't it? Yeah.
ASSE, I believe.
Oh, that's crevasse.
Oh, that's crevasse, isn't it? Yes, crevice.
I bet they've got crevasse. That's got to be an episode of Thunderbirds, hasn't
it? Crevasse has come up with nothing.
Oh.
Crevice has come up with nothing. Yeah. We've foxed them.
We've beaten them. So, Jamie Anderson. We should call him. See if he's in.
Yeah. Our new feature, just frustratedly bug him when he's trying to conduct a business meeting. Hello, you don't have crevice, do you, on the website?
He might not be in. It's worth trying, you know, just for a sound at connecting. Oh, hello. You look quite anxious.
No, I'm in the middle of frying some eggs.
Well, you're live on the Benji and Nick podcast.
Oh no! What do you want this time?
Well, we typed pocket randomly. We're trying random words in your website. And we tried pocket and we got a result.
Pocket square.
Yeah, but we tried crevice and there's nothing there. So we're making a complaint.
I will do my best to develop a silk crevice product for you.
And also crevasse. We thought because Benji misspelt crevice as crevasse.
Oh.
But not even crevasse. I would have thought crevasse would be there.
It shouldn't be.
Like Thunderbird 2 surely flew over a crevasse once.
Well, if you'd put cravat, you might have had more luck.
Put cravat in, Benji.
No, there isn't one, but yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, should I let you get on with your eggs?
Or they're going to go all horrible and crispy at the bottom, and nobody wants that.
No, you're having breakfast late, aren't you?
Yes, I've had a busy morning.
Okay. Well, listen, Jamie, it's been fantastic to have you on the podcast again. What? Did you find anything for cravat, Benji?
No.
He won't.
Nothing.
He definitely won't.
Nothing.
No, sorry.
Well,
but I'm very happy to give this amazing contribution. Hello, listeners. Goodbye.
And you're wearing. Is that a Thunderbird 3?
The Thunderbird 3 hoodie, yes.
Ah, that's very good.
Legend.
I thought it was a sausage because with the way your hoodie's sort of folding, it looks like a sausage. I thought he's going to put that in the frying pan as well.
Meat product hoodies. Yeah.
It's a whole new range.
I'll wear my chorizo hoodie. Chorizo. I shouldn't have chosen that one. Right, I'm going crazy. I've got to
Okay,
go.
bye. Thanks
Bye.
for answering. Bye. There we are. That was Jamie
Join us
Anderson
next
on
week for
FaceTime.
harassing Jamie Anderson on the telephone every week from now on. That's right.
He's very good at answering. Sometimes, if I'm busy doing something, I just won't answer, but he'll answer and say, "Look, I'm busy."
I often just don't answer.
Yeah. Well, if you're busy.
Although everybody says that my my answer machine message, everybody always thinks it's me playing a trick. Because it's just me saying, hello, you've come through to the voicemail of Benji Clifford. I'm afraid there's nobody available to take your call. So if you leave a message, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But everybody always thinks it's me putting on a voice, being silly. And so I get this sort of people laughing. And oh, sorry.
One.
Oh, it actually is your voicemail. Oh, okay. Where are you? Madness.
For years before I was officially the voice of the Daleks on Doctor Who on the telly, I did a Dalek voicemail for, I think it was Gary Russell. Well, I used to be Gary Russell. Gary Russell, who was editor of Doctor Who magazine, later went to work at BBC Wales, in case you don't know, and former producer of Big Finish Productions. I was his lodger. So I did a Dalek voicemail announcement saying it.
Was that part of the deal?
Say
It said, "Oh, you can lodge with me if you do me voicemail as a Dalek. I'll have a Cyberman phone call to the mother once a week, and an interpreted dance on Tuesdays."
Yeah, I failed on the dance, obviously. But we used to get so many messages of people just going, and then hanging up because they just rang up to listen to it with me saying, "Everybody here has been exterminated."
Well, I must admit, I've spent most of my life plagued by your birthday card. That seems to always find its way. It is your birthday. I'm like, oh, yeah, this one again. Put that in the pile.
And also the birthday cakes as well. They have buttons on them that have Dalek voices. They used to have those. I remember I was having breakfast at the St David's Hotel in Cardiff after doing some big Doctor Who launch event. And where I was slightly the worse for wear, and in the morning, and I was just tucking into my full English to revive myself, and I'd spent the previous night exterminating local MPs allegedly, meet and greet. Oh, I've just had a text from Jamie saying you ruined my eggs. Sorry about that. It's another disaster. I'm sure we should get some Barry Gray music to illustrate that. That was rubbish. what was I talking about? Oh yeah, and I'm in the middle of just having my breakfast, feeling a little bit rough, and then I just say exterminate, and I thought, what am I having some kind of flashback to last night? And I realised there was a kid having a birthday breakfast, and they given them a Doctor Who cake right over the other side of this vast dining room.
I hope you went over in your hungover state and said, "That's me. That is. You were a real birthday treat." You didn't, right? That's.
I had a bit of an internet.
Oh, well, I thought you would just
meltdown then. Didn't hear what you said.
I said, I hope you went over to him and gave him a little birthday treat and said, "That's me in that card," before probably being arrested for harassing people in the mornings. He's been doing that all week. He keeps going up to people saying, "I'm the voice of the Daleks," and then unbelievable. Keeps asking for a $5.
I'm quite shy, really, if I'm not, in the limelight. I did feel an impulse, and I thought, oh no, probably.
I'll just stay here and eat me eggs.
Jamie additionally says, I should have said spam pants or bacon socks. Well, I think we all should have said that at some point in our lives.
What words?
Anyway, listen, I think we've Andersoned ourselves out.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's...
Ace of Wands.
Ace of Wands. We've got the emails and the competition as well at some point.
Should we do emails now?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we should do that.
Do you want to read out the one you've got there?
Okay. Let me open it up here. So I've got an email here from Rick from the Unmutual, which is the Prisoner go-to Prisoner fan site. Lovely bunch of people. Rick's a dude.
Rick's a dude, is that his name? Rick's a dude here.
There's too many icks in this podcast. Nicks and Ricks and all sorts. So, hi Benji and Nick. Following on from the excellent email that you received and read out on the latest B&N show, you'll be interested to know, or not, I can hear you yawning, that one episode of Counter-Strike was written by Anthony Skane and was a total copy of The Prisoner episodes A, B and C from 2 years before, in which chaps' dreams are manipulated. Whilst it was common for writers to reuse ideas and storylines from different series, or if you're Terry Nation, reuse them in the same series, this was a this was a particularly blatant rip-off of his Prisoner episode, and well worth watching. The episode is called Nocturne and is one of those that still exists. Please repeat and mention the competition for tickets to Not a Number next edition. That'd be great. Well, I'm sure we're going to be doing that. Don't worry, Rick. And Rick says best as ever, Rick. So thanks for that one. Yeah, we do need to check out Counter-Strike at some point. I expect Nick's probably already seen it. It seems like the type of thing Nick would have jumped on, being a prisoner.
No,
man.
I haven't seen it because you can't find it anywhere. Just those clips on YouTube of the various fragmented episodes. Here is an email from Rob Vincent. Gentlemen, I like that. Gentlemen. And the subject line is commentary! ! I've been enjoying this podcast since the start. It gets better with every episode. Well, we've bucked the trend and tried to make it worse this time.
Yeah.
I particularly liked the bit in the most recent episode when you began talking about Space 1999, and then seemingly on the spur of the moment, it really was on the spur of the moment, I'm telling you, you both synced up your videos and for a while gave a sort of commentary track discussing both the show in general and particular things going on screen in particular. Overuse of the word particular there, Rob. I paused the podcast and synced up a copy of the show so I could watch along with you.
Oh, yes.
It was a fun little mini DVD extra. I think we should do it more often. We won't do it with the Ace of Wands because I don't think either of us have got a DVD player near us at the moment. It could be a fun occasional feature on this podcast to chat over the running video like that once in a while. It's a good idea, Rob. We're going to take that idea and run with it.
Definitely.
So we listeners can supplement the regular pointing of our ear things your way with a treat for our eye things as well. Yes, in the Big Finish podcast, I talk about ear things. So why not talk about eye things? Best wishes and thanks for your work on this podcast, Big Finish and elsewhere. Rob Vincent, sent from my telling bone.
Oh, aye, boy. Aye.
Aye, boy. Nothing works.
Aye. Bird of night, hoot not. Aye.
So now let me select another email. The Mandela effect. People have got, really quite obsessed with the Mandela effect. That thing about alternate realities.
It's a weird
Quite
one.
A few emails about it.
It is a strange one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some theories and different things that completely, I think, are rubbish. Like somebody on my Facebook said almost in a matter-of-fact way, said, of course we all know that dreams themselves are just visions of alternative realities. I was like, well, you want to see my dreams after eating cheese, mate? Because I tell you one thing, if they're visions of alternative realities, and I don't know what is going on, because that really, I thought that's just rubbish, isn't it? Let's be honest here.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't know what to say, Benji. Really.
No, dreams. Come on. Oh well. No, it's not.
What? Dreams are rubbish.
Well, no, I love dreams. I would say that.
But they are. But yeah, they're just. I heard an explanation that the reason for dreams is just to keep your eyes moving so they don't get stuck to your eyelids.
Yeah, that's quite a good point. I like that. Yeah. I like that.
Marianne Kelly wrote in. And she's talking about, we mentioned something about the writer of Invasion of Time and David Agnew. Do you remember that?
Yes, I
do. Hello, Benji
and
Nick. In the May the 13th podcast, you mentioned that Anthony Reid, the writer of Invasion of Time, Anthony Reid, who was also the adapter of Chucky, was he?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Sorry, for some reason, the first thing that came into my mind was Anthony Newley.
Well, anyway, he was credited as David Agnew and speculating about the reason why. I remember seeing on several interviews on Classic Who DVD extras that David Agnew was a BBC pseudonym used for script writing credit. When crediting the actual writer or writers, would have broken some rule about producer, directors, script editors not being allowed to also write scripts. I just checked the TARDIS wiki for that serial and it says its script was a last-minute replacement written quickly by script editor Anthony Reid and producer Graham Williams when the original season ender by David Weir was abandoned. Good to know I wasn't wasting my time watching all those 26 years worth of DVD extras, Marianne Kelly. Thank you, Marianne. Yes, I kind of knew that. Yeah. And the Invasion of Time, I would again controversially say, was clearly written very quickly indeed.
Yes, 100%.
Although I must say, I sort of loved it at the time because of all the Time Lord stuff. I found that sort of thrilling.
Well, like I love the TARDIS corridors, which are just a corridor. Over and over again.
Made out, and I didn't like that. Also, I was massively disproportionately disappointed by the fact that the Stasers made a different sound effect, because I love the Staser sound effect, the Time Lord guns from Deadly Assassin, and then these came along and they kind of went sounded like someone's just swallowed something.
So what I try to do when I'm working on like the Big Finish Time War stuff, I try and like use sound effects from all different times of like in Doctor Who, because I always think like the Time War, like time's a bit crazy, and so like you can use like, for example, like like the transmat sound, which is always famously the
crazy.
Just some going, but there's also one that goes like that, and so I thought I'll just mix them together because time is crazy. Why not kind of mix? I can imagine everybody's pooling together lots of technology.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the internet keeps screwing up and you just keep going into slow motion and silent.
Just missing great points.
I can't wait to hear it when you send me the audio file and I can hear the genius of what you said. Well,
it's all, you just have to imagine. Just imagine. Yeah. But no, thanks for that email. We got any more emails?
No, I think we've done 3.
Cool.
We'll move on.
Right.
Can we move on to Ace of Wands?
Yes, we can. Most certainly move on to Ace of Wands.
I want to make an opening statement just to remind listeners that Benji and I are separated by over a quarter of a century. And even though he's massively into all things ancient, which is why we get on. So this has Ace of Wands has a real... I was watching one of the interviews with the actor who played the female assistant for the first 2 series. I can't remember her name now.
Her name in it is...
Someone No, Markham was the other one, wasn't
it? Norma West? No.
She played Luli.
I'm just looking on the wiki page, and for some reason it's just really not been made very well. Petra Markham.
Petra Markham, it was Markham, yeah. And she was saying that when she thinks of the theme tune of Ace of Wands, she just gets a feeling in her gut that makes her tingle all over. Because she really enjoyed making the show, and it's such a tragedy for her and Tony Selby that those first 2 series were erased. But and I have the same thing about Ace of Wands, and I did watch this box set, which just has the 3rd series in it, which is the only surviving series, quite some time ago. And I remember finding it all a bit slow, and it kind of disappointed me a bit. But going back and watching this first episode again, I really loved it. It reactivated all my nostalgia. But for you, there isn't that connection. So first of all, would you like to sum up what Ace of Wands is? Because I'm interested in your perspective, and then what you thought of the episode.
Well, so Ace of Wands is it follows a guy called Tarot, who is a magician, and he's involved in all that you would attribute with somebody of the psychic sort of realm, I suppose. If he's got the astrological links and all that, and basically mysteries occur. In this case of today's episode that we're discussing, there's something wrong about this market. And it's all about how he, and accompanied by assistants who are just friends really, they solve mysteries together and utilising his sort of crazy magical ways really. It's just a very cool series. It's done very well. It sounds like I'm just talking about Doctor Who here, but it's done very well. And the guy who plays Tarot, Michael Mackenzie, is incredible. Like, I just think Tarot is so cool. There's something about him, but it's you see, we're talking about the nostalgic value. For me, this was a show that I remember. I'm just going to double check I do remember it from this. There's a great website which is down, which is fantastic. There was a great website that launched years ago called TV Arc, which they used to have and host loads of title sequences for TV programs, and Ace of Wands was on there. And if you've not heard the theme to Ace of Wands, it was written by Andy Bowen.
That's right.
From Status Quo, I believe. Actually, I'm sure he is from the Quo.
That's right. Yeah, no, you're right.
He is from the Quo, and it's this really. It's the type of music you'd only hear in like the late '60s, early '70s, sort of hippie-ish, very hippie-ish kind of acoustic guitar thing. Well, I'm not going to bother doing it with my mouth because that means nothing to anybody. But it
was sounding great. You should get the lyrics up and read them out.
I can do that.
It's just incredible. I actually, here's a confession that I needed some mystical nonsense for a Doctor Who script I wrote, and so I took one of the verses from this. I didn't copy it, but what I did is I found alternate similar words for every word in it. So it was really
wicked,
similar, but not the same. There's just a point where it all goes a bit weird.
I hope it was the one, what was it? Falcon Sun, Leopard Moon, mind searching for tomorrow. Take what you can from yesterday. The rest beg, steal or borrow. The opening is great, was it? Jet white dove, snow black snake, time has turned his face from the edge of mystery where running is no race. Boom. Oh, so good.
And what is the chorus? Because everyone gets it wrong. Everyone thinks it's Banana Man or something.
It does sound like Banana Man, isn't it? It's I always thought it was Phenomenon.
Yes,
but it's actually tarot cards, tarot, the Diamond Man, tarot cards wherever he can. He's the Diamond Man.
That's what I thought it was, and people kept saying, no, it's Phenomenon.
I thought it was Phenomenon. Tarot card, tarot, Phenomenon.
And Michael Mackenzie in the interviews in the extras says that kids used to shout out to him, Taro the Banana Man.
It does sound like
quite difficult to understand what they were saying, to be quite honest.
Banana Man. But so I sort of saw the title sequence, which is awesome, on there. And of course, when it was released by Network, I was really quick to grab it because I was so intrigued by this show because it's kind of has everything that I like in these sorts of 70s things. I love a bit of mysticism and the sort of the fantasy elements like that, and so watching it, I loved it the first time round. Watching it again this time, I think it's brilliant. I think it's one of those hidden gems. Reading on the internet, a lot of people say that the earlier versions of the earlier series of Ace of Wands, it was far superior to what we got at the end. And apparently there was a different title sequence, allegedly, for Series 2, which somebody on YouTube has recreated. Whether or not that's true, he literally recreated it from his memory. So, so I don't know.
It's obviously very accurate, though, isn't it?
It's like, this is
it's
what
got flying saucepans and a crevasse and a crevice and a cravat. Yeah, the cravat would fit. The fashions are amazing, aren't they? That's about in the extras on the DVD, the network DVD. Really, they should be sponsoring us. Michael Mackenzie, I think the last thing he says is, and the fashions were incredible. And
oh God, yeah.
You see all the photographs of the previous series where he's wearing bright yellow suits and always a sort of floppy hat. And I have to say, watching this episode, controversial. This is Doctor Who.
Oh, it is.
He turns up. You don't quite know where he's from, all that kind of stuff, and he just makes friends with people, and then he immediately goes to the source of some terrible wrong that he is going to right, And in this episode, there's a strange man in an office that looks, and I hope you don't mind me using this word, it looks like Grenfell Tower, the place that tragically burnt down. I wonder whether it is. It really does look like that tower.
I'll have to have a look
tragically, there was this awful disaster, which is very much in the news in the UK. I don't know internationally whether it has featured a lot.
See, there's one thing I remember about Ace of Wands, that there's actually a really strange thing watching it back yesterday, because I always thought that in this particular series there's this great little base where they all like hang out, and it's so cool. It's like a television set, like it's a set as opposed to location, and it is awesome. Like, if you're a kid, it's exactly what you want. It's like a mixture between like a cool 70s hangout and a science lab. And I always thought that for some reason, in the past, I always thought that was where Taro lived from my memory. However, it turns out that was where the photographer, his assistant, lives, who, quite frankly, how does he live somewhere like that? He's just this photographer. And I know,
but he's a crazy inventor. He's always got crazy ideas.
But he's a right old Burke, isn't he? He's not going to live in a place like that.
Wow.
Off a market square, but it's really
where
cool.
Did Taro live in the first two series? I suppose he had some
cool,
interesting.
I bet he had some cool lair with like a big table with the cards on and a crystal ball and all that stuff.
Oh, it's such a shame it
doesn't
just exist,
having a look here now at the tower. Let's have a look. I do know what you mean, actually. It's really...
And it looks like that area of London as well. It looks like the sort of Ladbroke Grove area.
Yeah, that's quite unnerving, that is. We'll have to see if there's any record of where it was filmed.
I mean, it's not going to be the main thing that people are going to talk about in the wake of the terrible disaster that, an episode of Ace of Wands was filmed outside there. It's quite tactless, wouldn't it?
But there's actually, talking about that office, there's something that did make me laugh. There's this snake in a bird cage, which is just poking its head out of the bars. And upon looking at it again now, I can see quite clearly that the snake is actually quite a big snake. But when I saw it yesterday, I thought it was a really little snake, and I thought, why is it
because
in a
the first
cage?
shot of it, the thing has got at the bottom of the cage, and it's just its tail sticking out. But when you come to the next shot, it's a blooming great big thing, and there's a fantastic. If you've seen the documentary, they all tell a fantastic story about, they wondered, it occurred to them having this animal on set, they said, what are they going to do about its waste? No one ever really thinks about a snake having a poo.
Oh God, no they don't.
And then apparently right in the middle of doing a scene, the snake let them in on the secrets of snakes pooing, and they kept cutting between the three in the interview section. They kept cutting between the three actors, going. They were all saying that it is the worst smell they have ever smelled in their lives. And apparently, what happens? Just everyone just ran out of the studio because it was just so obnoxious and noxious. They opened the studio doors, and apparently they had to stop filming for half an hour while people were sent in to shovel out all this. Apparently, they were shoveling it into wheelbarrows and wheeling it out.
God. So basically,
and they made the producer promise never to have a snake in the series again.
So basically, don't work with snakes, I think, is the real moral of this horrible story.
Children and animals, yes.
It says here, interesting, the character's final appearance was in Dramarama, portrayed by David Jason.
What? Tarot?
Apparently, Ace of Wands, yes.
That's interesting because Mr. Stabs was a character from Ace of Wands, and they did spin him off into Dramarama. It was
probably Mr. Stabs. I'm literally going by the Wikipedia here.
Yeah.
So it's probably Mr. Stabs then.
Because Mr. Stabs is played by Russell Hunter in Ace of Wands, but I can see that they might have got David Jason to do it for Dramarama. Though that episode is also on the DVD box set.
I'll have to. I've not looked at it in ages. Honestly, it's been
years. The documentary is called "A Story with No End," which, of course,
I'm gonna have to watch that today. I think
it's one of the lyrics.
That might be my lunch viewing. But I'll tell you something about Ace of Wands, which interesting. I think last week we were talking about television in the 90s and early 2000s. There was a program called Raven, which I remember. I mean, I never watched it. I was getting to the point. It was about 2002. I was getting a bit too old for it. But Raven was a cool show, and it stars James Mackenzie, which is Michael Mackenzie's son, in this. But the coolest thing is they did a series called Raven the Island, and in that Michael Mackenzie Tarot plays an old astrologist / sorcerer called Cyrus the Astronomer on there, who's an old wise astronomer on there, and he's in the episodes. But it's really cool. I mean, he doesn't look like Tarot, he's got a big beard as you'd imagine an astronomer, but it's really cool because he plays it like dead serious, and he's really cool because he's talking all about the astronomy and all mystical things, and it was like this sort of weird little like Tarot is like as an old man. It's so cool. And I had a look at that yesterday. I was like, this is really, he's talking about things like the time wells and the pearls of wisdom, and when eclipses are due and timepieces. So yeah, pretty cool.
He obviously has a great affection for Ace of Wands as well, so that would have been rather thrilling for him, seeing him interviewed. And on a lot of these DVD extras on some of the network videos, you see people talking about stuff and they're a little bit down on it and have dismissed it. But no, very much everyone involved in Ace of Wands absolutely loves it. And it was also lovely to see Trevor Preston talking about it, the creator who, as you mentioned last podcast, Benji, sadly died recently. And he, how we've been talking about how ITV kids drama just made drama.
Yes.
And they didn't skew it for kids particularly, and that's exactly what he says. That's what he set out to do. He said he realised that kids were watching grown-up drama, so he thought, let's do something that is for kids, but it's like a grown-up drama, and it's all fantastical and crazy, but no more so than the Avengers, and that's also what he was thinking about as well.
I think you've summed up Ace of Wands there, because it takes itself very seriously. Right from the word go. I mean, in this episode, the bad guy in this first one, who's a sort of strange, he's like a sort of streets performing, like Morris dancer, buskery sort of chap. He is horrible. Like there is nothing nice about this guy. He makes you feel uncomfortable. I was watching it and I thought I forgot how nasty he was. And you couldn't have him on kids' telly today. He would frighten people.
Yeah, and also that guy in the office upstairs with the pooing snake.
Well, yeah, he's frightening.
Well, he is just... I mean, so far in episode 1, you just see him walking around this shadowy office and pressing buttons and things, and he's just... It's terrifying, actually. And I remember being disturbed by that as a kid. The guy who plays... what's his name? Who's got the Kiss Me Quick hat on and goes round busking with the drums and the spoons...
I can't remember his name.
You were just talking about him.
He was horrible.
Is it not on...
Oh, wait,
is
the
it not
actor's
on
name?
Wikipedia? Yeah.
Or the character's name? Oh, let's have a look.
Well, either. No, but that guy had a brilliant career. He did so many things. He pops up in every classic old series you see. I saw him in an episode of Gideon's Way the other night on Talking Pictures TV. He ended up as a regular a semi-regular in The Tomorrow People.
Of course he did. Yes,
playing
of course
playing a nice version.
Michael Standing.
That's it, Michael Standing.
Spoon.
Yeah. Spoon. That's what he's called because he plays the spoons. That's what I can hear Sylvester McCoy writing a legal letter right now.
He was in Adam Adamant apparently as well. Adam Adamant, The Champions, Z Cars.
Yeah. See, he did everything. He was eminently castable as a bit of a wide boy, a bit of a thug. Brilliant. Bit of a chancer. The episode of Gideon's Way he was in, he was with Michael Craze, played Ben
brilliant,
in Doctor Who. He played Michael Craze's older brother.
Oh, I bet that was quite a good one to watch, actually.
Yeah, Michael Craze breaks out of Borstal.
Oh, of course.
And goes to see his brother, who's a dodgy dealer. It's great stuff. Yeah, Gideon's Way, that's something you should watch if you've ever seen it. Have you ever seen Gideon's Way?
I've seen it on, but I've not sat
Straight down the line, 50s police drama. Hilarious.
Gideon's Way. It's always on. I think it's always on the Sky and things like that. ITV plus ITV.
It's on Talking Pictures TV, mate. Talking Pictures TV.
Do you know what I recorded? Talking Pictures TV. Was it the Douglas Bader film? Was it
Reach for the Sky?
Reach for the Sky. Yeah, I recorded that yesterday or the day before.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to sit and enjoy that.
Kenneth More.
Oh, marvellous.
Yes.
Marvellous that is.
I'd want you to count how many times Kenneth More says, hoo-hoo. Because every part he plays, he always has a hoo-hoo moment. He goes, hoo-hoo. I always remember in A Night to Remember when he says to his wife, hoo-hoo, the thought of you in frilly knickers. Kenneth More is one of my favourite actors ever, because I don't think he was a superb character actor or anything. He was always very much Kenneth More, but goodness me, that reassuring paternal thing that he did, so heroic, but also sort of cuddly as well. You just don't get actors like that anymore. He was amazing.
He was in my favourite film, The Battle of Britain, wasn't he?
Of course.
Yeah.
No, was he? Yes, he was. Yes, of course he was.
Sure he was, yeah.
Listen, mate, everyone was in The Battle of Britain.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That had Laurence Olivier and Michael Caine and,
It even has, what's his name? Fred Elliott from Coronation Street in it as well. What's his name?
What does he play?
He's just in it. He's just in this scene. Like he comes into a room. He's in his RAF gear. He comes into a room and sort of says, "Some papers for you, sir," and something along the lines of that, and then has a little discussion and then goes. But of course, I was just like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "That's so random." But I love the Battle of Britain as a film, and also The Longest Day. That's got everybody in it.
Yeah, John Wayne.
Richard
Wayne.
So was it Hank? Is it Hank? Not Hank Williams. What's his name? Not just John Wayne. There's The Longest Day. It probably is just him. Has got. Well, it's got.
The Longest Day is about the D-Day invasion.
That's a wicked film. Absolutely wicked. Lasts hours long. I remember that. It's got. Is it Hank? I'm just making this up. No, it hasn't got. It's got nobody.
Benji going Hank.
It's got nobody called Hank in it. I've just done the.
This is the Mandela effect, obviously. In your alternate reality, Hank was in The Longest Day.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, back to Ace of Wands. Have we got anything else to say about Ace of Wands? Apart from, I give it 5 out of 5 exclamation marks, or even 10 out of 5. I love it. I can't wait to stop recording this to go and watch some more. Frankly.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think. That's a Game of Thrones for some reason. Ace of Wands is a fantastic series. I thoroughly recommend it. It's cult telly at its finest, and actually I think it perhaps it's down to the fact that the first 2 series were wiped, but I certainly feel like it's one of those shows that's almost been lost in time a little bit and forgotten about, when really it deserves quite a. People remember things like the Tomorrow People, for example. That's reference, but Ace of Wands, I don't know. It doesn't often get looked at. So yeah, give that one a view. You can get that from network television. Ace of Wands, yeah.
Yes, you get the DVDs. Unfortunately, it's not available on iTunes. I don't think you can buy it digitally anywhere.
No, but you can get it for...
You can get it to do digital stuff.
£12 special edition, the whole complete stuff with extras from Network. So that's a pretty good deal, to be honest.
That is good. That is good. That is good, Stigron.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Excellent.
Well,
so we got to discuss next week then, haven't we?
Well, first of all, let's do the competition.
Good idea, Batman.
What was the competition? The two competitions were...
one was to win 2 Thunderbirds alarm clocks. Not for yourself. That's 2 winners for that. And what was the other one, Nick?
The other one was to win 2 tickets to go and see a prisoner event. What was it called? A Patrick McGoohan event.
The Patrick McGoohan event was called... just finding it on my sheet. Hold on. So the prison event was called Not a Number, a Patrick McGoohan retrospective. Very exciting.
And what was the question?
So the question for that one is, what is the title of the last episode of The Prisoner?
And the winner, Phil Markham, says the last episode is called Fallout, and I still don't understand it after many viewings. I don't think anyone does. Not anyone. Not even Patrick McGoohan understood it. He was just having a bit of a rebellious moment. So there you are, Phil Markham, you've won it. We'll put you in touch with the Unmutual, if we may, and they'll sort you out your 2 tickets to go along to Elstree Studios, that wonderful event on the 23rd of June, I want to say it is. But anyway,
very exciting.
You'll find out from the Unmutual. Next thing, we asked what was Thunderbird 6 in the film Thunderbird 6, and that was to win a Thunderbird's alarm clock. And we have 2 winners. We have Zvi Lebetkin from Israel says Thunderbird 6 was a biplane, a Tiger Moth, I think. You're right, Zvi.
Indeed.
It was, it is. And there you are. I'm sending your address and details to Jamie Anderson. Also winning this, hi Benji and Nick, the beardless one. Well, the beard...
It's coming on now. It's coming on. I can see that.
It's coming on, yes.
It's starting to
Tom
look...
Baker.
What did he say?
He said, as he left, he said, Nick, I think it's grown more this morning. Anyway, yes.
One option, city centre recruitment on Lynch Lane in Weymouth. Do you want that one?
You see, Siri thinks I've asked for recruitment centres in Weymouth. No, I didn't say anything like that. I said, I don't know. I said, Tom Baker. Wow, that's weird, isn't it? Anyway, maybe Zvi sounds like Hey Siri.
Maybe.
I've said Hey Siri now. No, don't. Anyway, yes. Thunderbird 6, when it came rumbling out of the hangar, was revealed to be an old Tiger Moth biplane and was the only vehicle capable of landing on the deck of the stricken skyplane. Also, I can attest to the great quality of the Thunderbird 5 hoodie. Mine arrived earlier this month and is a lovely garment, and I got the free shipping offer too. Many regards. Many regards. That's an odd thing to say. Ian Humphreys, who lives in Birkenhead. So we shall, yes, get Jamie to send you an alarming clock.
Interesting
good.
thing about the Tiger Moth there is that this weekend,
yes.
about a year ago, I gave my dad, I bought him the present because it's his 60th. So I got him the gift of going up, the gift of flight, the gift of going up for a short flight in a Tiger Moth, going from Shoreham Airport, which is apparently now called Brighton City Airport, but it's Shoreham. Lovely airport. It's really Poirot. If you ever go there, it's literally it's the 30s in there. It's 1920s, 30s. Nothing has changed. Everything about it. You can like dine in like somebody's playing the piano in the corner. You can dine in these lovely. It's just gorgeous. The building is gorgeous. But yes, so he went up in a lovely Tiger Moth plane, and it was amazing to watch it take off and do its thing. But he says that it was utterly... he said it wasn't terrifying. He said, but it was so flimsy. He said it really felt as though this plane was going to fall apart at any moment. Not because it was a rickety plane, but just because of it's a canvas plane. It's very bare bones and basic. And
did he land on the deck of the skyplane?
He did. He visited the skyplane and said hello. Before
he rescued Lady Penelope.
Yeah, and then he whipped her back to Shoreham Airport for a cup of tea. But no, he
And
had
a tinkle on the old ivories.
Oh yeah, but playing the Tony Hancock theme apparently. Yeah, he had a really good time. But amazing plane, very simplistic inside. If ever you have a look or Google the inside, you'll see that this is a plane. There's no complex controls. You've got yourself.
Is it just a stick?
It's a stick. You've got your speed. You've got your height. You've got your angle. And you got your compass, and that is it, and nothing else, and your throttle. Crazy, but yeah, fab.
I love it when you talk technical about planes.
Yeah, you know me, son. Yeah, very technical. It's got a stick and a chair and a wing. No, it was really
haddock.
and a herring. But no, it was really cool.
It's a herring, isn't it? Not a haddock. I keep saying haddock when it's a herring. With a herring!
With a kipper.
Pilchards!
Fish fingers.
Listen, what are we going to discuss next week? I've no idea.
I have no idea. I really want you to check out The Devil's Crown. A really obscure bit of telly, that one.
Well, how do I get it?
It's on YouTube. It's never been released. It's just on there. I think it was released in France. But I think it's a really cool bit of old school drama. All right,
well, we'll do the Devil's Crown then.
I think you'll appreciate
just the first episode.
Just the first, yeah, definitely the first. There's a lot of them, but for performances,
it's 5 hours long, Nick.
There are a lot of episodes, and I think they're an hour long each. I think they are. Maybe not. They can't be. Surely not. Devil's Crown.
This will be very exciting because I have never heard of it apart from your previous mention of it, and don't know anything about it. So I will watch this.
It's 15 minutes. It's a historical sort of drama, but the reason I've chosen it is because I just think it's a real hidden gem. I think it's fantastic.
Okay, mate. Well, I suppose it's time to talk like this.
Yes, I think you're correct. Well, thank you to everybody who has joined us here on this ace journey.
I just have a slight paranoia that we've missed something out, but I guess if we have... Oh, I know what. Please, if you want to write to us, it's podcast@nicholasbriggs.com.
Yes.
We haven't mentioned that. Do send in your emails. We love reading them.
We do. Going to be a very, very small inbox next week if people don't make it to the end.
Yeah, goodness. Also, longness. Also, goodness. No. Next week we'll have a competition for you. Sorry, there isn't one this week.
Tally ho.
Goodbye. Pressing stop now. Ka-chunk.